Yo guys, what's up? Or, Yo guys, what's up? It's your girl Dev. And today we're going to talk about the new immigration update. Now, this update affects a lot of us players because essentially it's going to affect the people that are migrating from older kingdoms to newer kingdoms, and it's going to affect how new accounts are created and how they migrate from new kingdoms all the way to old kingdoms. And in this episode, we're going to talk about that. And I've got a really cool infographic that I made that you guys can have. It's also going to be in my Discord. So if you want access to the Discord, you're going to have to follow the link in the description. If you haven't already joined, you can join there and I'll drop all the infographics for you available so you can go and reach it and see it a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get this thing started right. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the immigration update and how it applies to you, the player, okay? So there's a lot of stuff going on that is detailed in this description here. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through and read it verbatim because y'all can read it, okay? You got two eyes, y'all can read it. I'm going to interpret it for you, okay? It sucks for a few reasons, but it's beneficial for other reasons. And I'll go into the reasons why both kind of play out. And in my opinion, it's still not what I expected them to come out with when it comes to transitioning with Lost Kingdoms. But we're going to go into that. I'm going to show you an infographic and it's going to explain it. So let's go ahead and hop right in. And as I'm scrolling through here, some of the verbiage is kind of redundant, but there's some things that are not in my infographic that we're going to talk about. Like, I didn't mention anything about where it says the off season and the battle periods. Okay, so off seasons, we know what that means, right? That's the transition from like season 1 to season 2. After season 1's over, the transition to season 2, that's your off season. From the end of season 2 to season 3, that's your off season. From season 3, Light and Dark, to Heroic Anthem or season or Conquest, that's your off period. Okay, so those are off periods. Battle periods are obviously KVK. Got it. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. No need to go like beat the horse and like repeat it over and over and over again because y'all know what I mean. Okay, we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and talk about this infographic that I made. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bbit about it. It's going to make a lot more sense in a few minutes because it's going to, you can kind of see it. I can't really point in that direction because I don't have a green screen, but I'm going to kind of move off to the side this way and we're going to point this way. Okay, so at the very far left, you're going to see where it says New Kingdom. Okay, so when a new kingdom is created, okay, so they follow these simple rules here. So as you can see where it says New Kingdom, the current rules, okay, obviously this is from like 0 all the way up until your KVK Season 1 start date, which should be around like 70 days old kingdom to 80 days. It just depends on the continent, okay? Current rules. Migrate to any kingdom on your continent. That is still in effect. You must meet the migration requirements, including that new one that they just created where you can't migrate to a kingdom if it's in a specific type of stage, which you have to be under 10 million power, okay? To if that kingdom is like, it's like the strongest kingdom on the continent, essentially. You can't migrate there unless you're under 10, but any other kingdom on that continent you can migrate to, as long as you meet the requirements. You have to meet the requirements. Now, the next part here, the next part down below, it says the kingdom outside of your continent must be younger than what your current continent is. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if you're in like 2160, which is on a separate continent, and you want to migrate to 2166, you can, but you can't go forward. You can't go to like 2140 because it's too far forward. You can't go forward, you can only go backwards. Okay, but that's how it's always been with your passports and stuff. Before season 1. Before season 1. Okay, gotta be very specific about that. Now, post season 1, we're gonna go look at the next part here. Post season 1, You cannot migrate before season 1. Just kind of said that because obviously you have to be like a 120-day old kingdom in order to migrate to it, but you can't migrate unless the kingdom has completed season 1 from like a kingdom that's like 1300 series or 1000 series, or even like the kingdoms right next door that are just finished KVK or whatever. They can't migrate to you unless that kingdom has completed season 1. Now, you can't migrate forward to a kingdom after this patch. Okay, so after the patch, you can't go from, let's say you're in 2160 and you've completed season 1 KVK. You cannot migrate to any kingdom outside of the pre-KVK 1 to 2 bracket. Okay, so that means that your account can't go to a kingdom that's getting ready to start Light and Darkness or getting ready to do Heroic Anthem to get the commanders. No, you can't do that. After this patch, you can only stay in that off time period from season 1 to season 2. You're stuck in that period. Okay, that's what the update was talking about. But if you're in the 1000 series and you want to migrate backwards to the Young Kingdoms, you can. You're allowed to do that. But now you're stuck there in that bracket until you've passed Light and Darkness. Okay, so you kind of see where this is going. Cool. Just make sure you're following. If not, go back and replay like a minute and you can kind of get that re-explained. But that's pretty much how it works for that. Now, what are the downfalls? So I'm going to talk about that part before I move on. The downfalls of this. If I'm in 1300 and I just got a Zenobia, right? I'm now going to take her, and let's say I have a couple other expertise commanders like Saladin and Constantine and some other ones, Tamaris and Edward, prime example, okay? So I have Tamaris, Edward, and I have a Zenobia, and I have a Theodora, okay? I take my account and I migrate to a kingdom ending season 1, going into the prep stage for season 2. Okay, I've made it in the kingdom safe, whatever, everything's fine. I complete season 2. I am now at an advantage because most kingdoms starting season 2 now, which are only getting about a 35 to 45 day break between KVKs, and KVKs are shorter. Now they're going to have less commanders, have access to less commanders, MGEs and wheels. See what I'm saying? Now, this person that just migrated has these expertise commanders, and now they're at an advantage. Now, let's take your account and continue on to season 3. Okay, so now let's talk about this one person who did this, right? Now, you migrate before season 3 starts. Okay, you can migrate. All right, so let's say you're in that kingdom, right? You completed season 2 and you won or you lost. Let's say you lost season 2. Okay. You have an option. Season 2 is now complete. You're now in the off season from season 2 to season 3. Okay. And following this infograph right here, you can take your account and go back and repeat season 2. You still cannot go forward past season 3. Tracking? So you can repeat season 2, but you can't go past season 3. Cool. Now, there's a problem with that. Now with this new immigration system, again, and the fact that some of these commanders on the wheels and on the MGEs, these people bringing accounts who can still bring accounts into kingdoms after season 2 from older kingdoms to newer kingdoms still applies. They just have to stay there until after Light and Darkness is over. Now the problem is now they're going to have these expertise commanders that you wouldn't normally have. Like, for example, Attila Takeda, which in now the time bracket, the current one, most kingdoms won't see Attila Takeda until after Kingsland. My kingdom in particularly, we probably won't see Attila until after the level 9 passes, which for those of you who don't know what that means, it means the passes that can join both your zone 4 and another enemy zone 4. And there is a chance that we won't have Attila for that, or we might. because of the fact of two conditions. They've decreased the time for all kingdoms in KVK from 1, 2, and 3, which actually they matched it to season 3, which is 47 days ish. And the second thing they did was they decreased the time between KVKs. So now you're only spending about 40 days in home kingdom. And they also decreased with that, they decreased the time for pre-KVK. So they're just decreasing time. They're trying to bring these kingdoms closer and closer together so that they can have more kingdoms fighting in Heroic Anthem together. Which, I kind of get the logic, but their system is broken. It's not fair. It's like they want us to have all these really cool commanders, but now these kingdoms are Light and Darkness kingdoms, the ones that are going into season 3, are not getting the commanders at 310 days. It's not fair to them because they don't have access to those commanders. Why is that fair? They need to make sure that all the kingdoms should be on the same page. They should not have, one kingdom shouldn't have more of an advantage over another if they don't have access to that commander. But I get that for like Heroic Anthem, and you can have, that's a little bit different ballpark because you have a lot more commanders and a lot more different types of kingdoms fighting together. But in the younger stages, I don't know. I'm not really for it. I really wish that they would change that around a little bit and make it easier. Or make it more, at least make it fair. Make it so that you can't use the commanders like Zenobia and commanders like the late ones like Artemisia for season 3, the late season 3 commanders. But you know what? I don't know. It's hit or miss at this point for me, but yeah, they need to fix this. They need to fix it bad. Feel bad for those young accounts. But not much we can do. But try to express to Rise of Kingdoms like Lilith and tell them that, hey, look, your system's kind of broken. Please fix it because it makes it not only better for the players and the community, that makes them want to stay. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks so much for watching and staying tuned as we talked about the migration system and how it's really impacted the community. I showed you a really cool infographic that I made and built it and put it together. I'm probably going to tweak it a little bit, but that's essentially what I'm trying to get to you guys. You know, new kingdoms are one thing, then you've got your post-KVK 1 kingdoms, and then you've got your post KVK 2 kingdoms, and then you've got your post KVK 3 kingdoms. And as we go through the different brackets, I kind of explained it. I hope it was a good enough explanation. I know it's not the best, but it was kind of my interpretation. Now, as I wrap all of this stuff together, I approve it because of the fact that it does help new accounts experience all types of KVK before they reach Heroic Anthem. I do like that part, but what I don't like is the fact that older kingdoms can still come into newer kingdoms and affect the new kingdom dynamic, right? Either in a good or a bad way, or with the commanders and the troops and the tech and the gear especially. There's a lot of things I really think they should continue to tweak and adjust, especially maybe the gear options might have to be restricted the same way that commanders are, because there's gear that we can't access in early kingdoms until like Heroic Anthem and all those other Strife of 8 and stuff. I don't know. Patch is kind of meh. I like it, but I don't like it. It's really going to hurt a lot of the community in the early game. I feel like it's not really meant to. They have good intentions because they want to limit the amount of people moving in and out of kingdoms in the early game. I don't know. It's interesting, and I guess we're going to see how it plays out. If they make changes to it, this is not an official patch. This is just them addressing a patch that they're talking about. And remember, guys, it does not go into effect until mid-March. So you've got time to think about it, and Lilith has time to rethink this. But make sure that you are getting the word to them and bringing it up in their RoK Discord. You're sending them messages and letting them know your impressions of it. If you have VIP customer service, you can send them a message on your opinion. They do take those and give it feedback right to the developers. I hope this all helps. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos. Drop drop a comment to let me know what you thought of this. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. The updates, meh. But you can talk to me more in Discord. I'm always there. If you ever want a voice chat or whatever, just hit me up. But that's it for me, guys. So for now, just keep it real.